The sky above Callista 9 burned with red light as the alien ship descended. It was not one of Earth's ships. It moved too smoothly, like a shadow passing through air. People on the ground looked up in silence. Some dropped their tools. Others ran for cover. No one had seen anything like it before. Lana Carter stood near the edge of the colony's main compound. She wore an old military jacket and kept her hair short. She had once been a Marine, but now she was just the head of security for this small human outpost. Until today, that job had mostly meant checking supply drones and stopping bar fights. "You seeing this?" asked Jake, her radio operator, from inside the control tent. Double quotes, yeah, she said, eyes locked on the sky. "I see it." The ship landed with a soft hum, not far from the colony's outer fence. It was long and smooth, without any visible engines or windows. After a few minutes, a door opened and 6 tall figures stepped out. They were not human. They had 4 arms each, and their skin shimmered like wet stone. One of them stepped forward and raised a hand. A voice came from somewhere, not his mouth. "We are the Varnathi Dominion. You will surrender and prepare for integration." Lanza turned to Jake. "Integration? Doesn't sound good," he whispered. Lanza grabbed his small comms device. "Everyone, lock down the perimeter. Grab weapons if you have them. Get civilians indoors." Inside the colony, people scrambled. Most didn't even own guns. Those who did were farmers, engineers, or miners, people used to building, not fighting. Back outside, the Varnathi envoy waited. When no one approached, he raised a device and pointed it at the colony. A beam shot out, hitting one of the storage tanks. It exploded in a fireball that was all Lanza needed. She lifted her old rocket, Launcher 1 left behind by a private security team years ago, and aimed. She fired. The rocket screamed through the air and struck the lead Varnathi in the chest. He exploded into pieces. The others turned, stunned. Double quotes, "Well," she muttered, loading another round. "Guess we're at war," the Varnathi scattered, diving for cover. Their suits protected them, but they hadn't expected this kind of response. They had thought humans would be easy. They were wrong. Lanza didn't wait. She shouted into her radio, "Get me anyone who can fly a drone." Above them, in orbit, a small observation satellite picked up the explosion. It sent a signal back to Earth. No one there would understand the full message for hours, but the message was clear. First contact had gone very, very wrong. Asterisk, 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 far away. On a cold, metal world, deep in the heart of the Varnathi Dominion, the news spread fast. The council chamber buzzed with voices as leaders debated what had just happened. Junior analyst Korvac stood at the edge of the room, watching the others argue. He was not important, not yet. But he had seen the data from Callista 9. He had studied human behavior patterns. Something about them did not fit the usual pattern of fear or obedience. "They are primitive," said one of the High Lords, his voice full of disdain. "Their weapons are crude. Their ships are slow. They should have fallen to us like dust." Another lord nodded. "We will return with more force. We will erase them if they do not submit." Korvac raised his hand, careful not to speak out of turn. "With respect," he said, "we may not understand them fully. They did not run. They fought, immediately, without orders." A few lords turned to look at him, unimpressed. "They are animals," said one. "Wild and dangerous, yes, but still easy to kill." Korvac bowed his head. He knew he would not be listened to. But he also knew the truth. Humans were not like other species. They did not always act the way logic said they should. Back on Earth, the United Terran Assembly met in emergency session. They had received the signal from Callista 9 fragmented, but clear enough. Someone had fired back. In a large room filled with men and women in uniforms and suits, General Elliot Bennett spoke first. "This is not good," he said. "We hit an alien envoy. That's not just a mistake. That's war." Others nodded. Some argued for retreat. Some wanted to send more people to Callista 9. No one knew what to do. Then Captain Daniel Reyes stood up. He was older than most, with gray hair and calm eyes. "If we run now," he said, "we show fear. If we do nothing, we look weak. Either way, they come back stronger." He looked around the room. "But if we send a message, if we show them we are willing to talk, but not to bow, we might still have a chance." After a long silence, someone asked, "What kind of message?" Reyes smiled slightly. "We send a ship, unarmed, diplomatic mission. We go to them before they come to us." The idea was risky, but it was better than waiting to be attacked. So the decision was made. The TSS Concordia was chosen, a retired exploration vessel, cleaned up and refitted for peace talks. Daniel Reyes would lead the mission. As he stepped onto the ship, he looked up at the stars. "Let's see what kind of aliens we're dealing with," he said. And with that, the Concordia lifted off, heading into the unknown. ****. The TSS Concordia moved slowly through space. It was not fast or new, but it was strong. Captain Daniel Reyes stood on the bridge, watching the stars pass by. His crew was small scientists, diplomats, and a few soldiers. They were not here to fight. They were here to talk. "We are approaching the meeting point," said Maya Torres, the science officer. She was young, smart, and nervous. Ahead of them, a large alien station floated in the dark. It looked cold and hard, like a stone built by giants. This was neutral ground, chosen by the Varnathi Dominion. "Open comes," Reyes said. The message was sent. "This is the TSS Concordia. We come in peace." There was no reply at first. Then, after a long pause, a voice came through. "Dock at Bay 17. Weapons will be scanned. Do not resist." The crew followed orders. The ship docked. Reyes led a small team onto the station. They wore clean uniforms and carried no guns. Only cameras, recorders, and hoped that they were met by 6 tall Varnathi guards. Their skin shimmered under the cold lights. One of them stepped forward. "You have broken the rules," he said. Reyes frowned. "We haven't done anything but come here to talk." The Varnathi's eyes glowed red. "You attacked us. You must pay." Reyes took a breath. "We acted in self-defense. We want peace." But before he could say more, the lights flickered. An alarm began to sound. "What's happening?" Maya asked over COMMS. Back on the Concordia, the crew saw strange readings. Energy spikes. Gravity shifts. Something was pulling the ship. Then, without warning, the ship vanished. Not exploded. Not crashed. Just gone. On the station, Reyes and his team felt it too. The floor shook. The lights went wild. For a moment, everything turned white. When it ended, the Varnathi were gone. The humans were alone. "Captain," Maya shouted into her earpiece, "where are we?" Outside the station's windows, the stars were wrong. They were far from where they had been. "We're not in the same place anymore," Reyes said quietly. Far away, back on Earth, a signal came in from Callista 9. It was short and unclear. "Concordia, gone, no trace. Repeat, no trace." Panic spread quickly. On the planet's surface, people watched the sky. They waited for the ship to return. It never did. And the Empire? They thought the humans had destroyed themselves trying to play diplomat. They were wrong. The humans had not been destroyed. They had been taken to somewhere no one knew. And soon they would learn why. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The TSS Concordia floated in silence. Stars outside were not the ones they had known. The ship had been pulled through something fast and bright. No one on board knew where they were. Captain Daniel Reyes sat up slowly. His head hurt. Alarms beeped softly. Lights flickered. Power was low but holding. Report, he said. Voice rough. Mayo Torres, the science officer, checked her screen. We're still in space. But not our space. What do you mean? Asked Lieutenant Alex Bennett from security. I mean, we moved. A lot. I don't see any known star maps matching this area. Reyes stood up and walked to the view window. Outside, they saw a huge ring floating in the dark. It was made of metal and stone, covered in strange symbols. It spun slowly like a world turned on its side. What is that? Someone whispered. Station? Mayo said, eyes wide. Or maybe a planet? They watched as the Concordia drifted closer. The ring was broken in places, with parts missing or damaged. But even so, it was massive. Big enough to hold cities inside. It's pulling us in, Alex said. Gravity field. Then let's not fight it, Reyes said. Prepare for long-range scans and keep weapons ready, just in case. Hours passed. The ship entered the ring's shadow. They flew through an open section and into the inside. What they saw next took their breath away. Inside the ring, there were forests, oceans, ruins, old buildings half buried in dust. Strange lights blinked far below. This place is alive, Mayo said. Or used to be, Alex added. They landed near a large structure shaped like a tower. It was tall and smooth, with no visible doors or windows. As soon as they stepped out, the air was warm, breathable. The ground underfoot felt solid, like stone mixed with glass. No signs of life, Alex said, scanning with his rifle. But plenty of signs someone was here, Mayo replied. They found strange machines buried in sand. Walls with glowing lines running through them. Some of the tech still worked, but weakly. Back on the ship, Mayo tried to connect with local systems. After a few tries, something responded. Not a voice. Not at first. Just a pulse. Like a heartbeat. Then came the words, deep and calm, speaking directly into their minds. You have passed the gate. Welcome, travelers. Everyone froze. Did you hear that? Mayo asked. Reyes nodded. Someone is waiting for us. And somewhere deep inside the ruins, something old was waking up. Asterisk, 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 the voice came again, calm and deep inside their minds. You are not the first, but you may be the last. The crew of the TSS Concordia stood frozen. They looked at each other, waiting for someone to speak first. Was that a threat? Alex asked, gripping his rifle tighter. Not sure, Mayo said. Felt more like a greeting. Just strange. Captain Reyes took a breath. If it's watching us, maybe it can see us too. Let's respond. He stepped forward, away from the ship, and spoke out loud. We come in peace. We mean no harm. A pause. Then, light. From the tall, smooth tower. A beam of soft blue light reached down and touched the ground in front of them. Slowly, a shape. Formed human-sized, but not human. It had no face, only a smooth head and long limbs. Its body shimmered like water. I am Observer Unit Theta, it said, its mouth not moving. The voice was still in their heads. You have entered the ring of the Solari. Few have passed. Fewer still have been chosen. Chosen for what? Mayo asked. To inherit, Theta said. Reyes narrowed his eyes. Inherit what? Theta turned and walked toward the tower. With a wave of its hand, part of the wall melted away, revealing a dark hallway lined with glowing lines. Come, it said, and learn. Cautiously, the team followed. Inside, the air was cool. The walls pulsed with soft light. Machines hummed. Quietly, as if waiting for someone to wake them up, they walked for several minutes before entering a large room. In the center stood a round platform. Above it floated a glowing ball of energy. This place was built long ago, Theta said. By the Solari, they were powerful. They seeded knowledge across the stars, looking for those who could use it wisely. Mayo looked up at the floating ball. What is that? A test, Theta replied. A gift, a warning. Reyes stepped closer. How do we pass the test? Theta tilted its head. You already have. With that, the ball dropped into the platform. Light filled the room. Symbols lit up on the walls. Machines roared to life. You are not ready for all, Theta said. But you are ready for some. It raised a hand. Data flowed into Mayo's tablet. Maps, designs, blueprints for weapons, engines, and shields far beyond anything humans had built. This will help you, Theta said. But it will also draw attention. Reyes looked at Mayo. She nodded, eyes wide. We're not alone anymore, he whispered outside. Something stirred in the ruins. Something old. Something watching. And now it knew humans were here. Asterisk. The crew worked fast. After receiving the data from Theta, Mayo Torres spent hours copying it into the Concordia's systems. The files were huge, full of plans for new ships, weapons, and machines far beyond anything humans had built. This could change everything, she whispered, eyes scanning line after line of alien code. Change how? Alex asked, standing behind her. We could build better ships, better defenses. Maybe even find a way back home. Reyes walked in, looking tired but focused. Have you sent the message yet? Mayo nodded. Sent it through the neutrino relay we found. If the signal made it through, someone on Earth should pick it up in a few days. Good, Reyes said. Then we wait. But waiting was not easy. Outside, the ruins remained silent, but something felt different. The air was heavier. The wind colder. Theta had warned them that the gift would draw attention. They just didn't know from who or what. Back on Earth, the signal was picked up by a young technician named Eli Morgan. He worked late at the Deep Space Listening Post, sipping cold coffee and watching the monitors blink. Then he saw it. A faint pulse. Strange pattern. Not like normal space traffic. He sat up straight. What the hell? He ran the signal through filters, decoding layers one by one. Slowly, a message formed. We found something. Prepare. Eli stared at the screen. Prepare. For what? He muttered. He sent the message to command without delay. Within hours, high-ranking officials were in meetings. Generals, scientists, politicians, all trying to understand what had been found. Meanwhile, on Callista 9, Lana Carter paced outside the old command tent. She still wore her old military jacket, still carried the rocket launcher that started it all. You hear about this new signal? Jake asked, stepping out beside her. Yeah, she said. Sounds like Daniel found more than he was looking for. Jake frowned. You think it's bad? Don't know, she said, but if Daniel says to prepare, we'd better start preparing. Far away, in the dark corners of space, another signal was picked up. Not by humans. By someone else. On a warship orbiting a dead world. A commander in black armor looked at the readout. Something has changed, he said to his officer. Should we move? The officer asked. The commander smiled. Yes, he said. It's time we see what these humans are really made of. And across the stars, the game had just begun. Asterisk. The Varnathi Dominion did not like to be ignored. When the TSS Concordia vanished, they thought the humans had destroyed themselves. When they saw the strange signal from Earth, they realized their mistake. They are not gone, said Commander Yalin Rowe, watching the data stream. They found something. His war fleet was already in motion. 5 battle carriers, 10 destroyers, and a command dreadnought. They moved fast toward Earth's outer colonies. Their mission: show strength. Remind the humans who ruled this part of space. But Earth was no longer waiting. On Callista 9, Lana Carter stood on the edge of the colony, looking up at the sky. New weapons had been built, some using old human tech, some using pieces of alien wreckage found in deep space. We're not ready for a real war, she told Jake, her radio operator. We don't have to win, he said. Just survive long enough for someone to notice. Then the sky changed. A bright tear opened in space. Ships poured through, sleek, dark, and deadly. The Varnathi had arrived. This is it, Lana said into her comms. Everyone, lock in. We hold the line. The first wave came fast. Fighters dove down, firing plasma bolts that burned into the ground. But before they could reach the main base, invisible walls shimmered into place. Shields built using alien energy cores. They held strong. From hidden launch bays, Earth's own defenses answered. Missiles rose like fireflies into the sky. Railguns roared to life, sending metal slugs faster than sound. One fighter exploded mid-dive. Another crashed into a hillside in a ball of flame. What are they doing? Asked a Varnathi officer aboard the command ship. Their tech should not be this good, Commander Rowe frowned. They've been hiding what they have. He turned to his crew. Send in the dropships. Take the surface by force. But before the order could be carried out, something else happened. A pulse. Quiet at first. Then the sky lit up. From orbit, hidden satellites activated. They fired beams of pure energy straight down. 2 destroyers vanished in an instant. A third lost half its hull before it could retreat. What was that? Someone shouted. Rowe stared at the screen. They're not just defending. They're hunting. Back on the ground, Lana watched the sky burn with enemy fire and her own. This isn't the same fight they expected, she said. Double quotes. No, Jake agreed. I think we just scared them. And far above, as more human weapons came online, one truth became clear. Humans were no longer prey. They were players now, and they had just begun to fight. ***. The battle over Callista 9 was still raging when the TSS Concordia returned. No one saw it coming. Not the humans. Not the Varnathi. It just appeared, slicing through space like a ghost made real. Its hull gleamed with new armor. Strange lines of light ran across its body. It was no longer just an old exploration ship. It had changed. What the hell? Jake said, staring at the radar screen. Lanza Carter grabbed her binoculars and looked up. That's not the same ship. And she was right. Inside the Concordia, Captain Daniel Reyes stood on the bridge. Beside him, Mayo Torres checked the weapon systems. Shields are holding, she said. Pulse wave disruptors online. Railgun arrays charged. Reyes looked at the view screen. The sky above Earth's colony was filled with fire and smoke. Varnathi ships were pushing hard, but human defenses were holding. They're fighting back, Alex Bennett said from Tactical. But they won't last much longer. Reyes clenched his jaw. Then we even the odds. He turned to Mayo. Target their command ship. Take it out fast. Yes, sir. The Concordia moved like lightning. It cut through enemy fighters without slowing. Its new weapons fired in perfect silence and with deadly power. A pulse wave shot out and hit the lead Varnathi destroyer. The ship twisted in space like paper caught in fire. Then it vanished. What was that? A voice shouted. Overcomes. Something new, Mayo said. The Concordia kept moving. It fired again and again. Each shot precise. Each hit crippling. Commander Yalan Rowe watched in disbelief as his fleet took damage unlike anything before. Where did they get this tech? He asked. His officers stared at the screen. It's them, the ones we thought were weak, Rose stood up. Pull back all units. But it was too late. The Concordia reached the command dreadnought. It fired both railguns at once. Twin streaks of metal and energy slammed into the enemy flagship. Shields cracked. Engines exploded. The ship broke apart in seconds. We've lost the commander. Someone shouted aboard the dying ship. Rowe barely escaped in an emergency pod. Back on the ground. Lanza watched the sky change. The enemy ships were retreating. The attack was over. Did we win? Jake asked. Not sure, she said. But I know one thing. She pointed upward. Someone just told the galaxy not to mess with us. Above them, the Concordia hovered. Like a silent guardian. Its message was clear. Humans were not prey. They were not weak. They had returned. And now, they were ready for war. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The battle over Callisto-9 sent shockwaves across the stars. News spread fast. Not just among humans, but across the galaxy. Other species watched and listened. Some with fear, others with hope. On the Varnathi capital world, panic brewed beneath a surface of silence. High lords met behind closed doors. Commander Yellen Rowe stood before them, bruised but alive. They were not ready, he said. But they fought like they had been waiting for this. One of the lords frowned. You say they found new weapons? Rowe nodded. Not just weapons. Strategy, speed, discipline. They didn't act like a weak colony anymore. A long pause followed. Then junior analyst Korvac spoke up. We should have listened to the data. Humans do not behave like other species. They adapt. They surprise. They fight even when they shouldn't. The High Lords turned to him. You warned us before, one said. What do you suggest now? Korvac took a breath. Study them. Learn from them. Do not rush to destroy what we do not understand. Some of the lords scoffed, but others listened. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the mood was different. There was no time for celebration. Only planning. Captain Daniel Reyes stood in a large room filled with maps, reports, and live feeds. Beside him was Lanza Carter, still wearing her old jacket. We won this round, she said. But that doesn't mean we're safe, Reyes nodded. The Dominion will come back, stronger, smarter. So what do we do? Someone asked. Reyes looked at the others. We reach out. We find allies. We show the galaxy we are not just fighters, we are builders, traders, diplomats. Lanza raised an eyebrow. You want to make friends while preparing for war? Both, he said. We need people who will stand with us. If the Dominion comes again, we don't want to be alone. And so, missions began. Small ships traveled to nearby systems. Some held trade talks. Others offered help to struggling colonies. Every message carried the same idea. Humans were here. Not to conquer, not to bow, but to stand tall. On Callisto-9, Mayo Torres worked hard to unlock more of the Solari tech. New defenses rose. New ships were built. And slowly, the Terran Alliance began to grow. Far away, aboard a neutral space station, Alex Bennett met with a diplomat from a distant system. You're human, the diplomat said. Alex smiled. Yeah, surprised? The diplomat thought for a moment, then nodded. I think I'd like to know more about your people. As the meeting began, the message was clear. Humans were no longer unknown. They were players in the game, and they were just getting started. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Years passed. The battle over Callisto-9 became a story told across many worlds. Some called it the day humans proved they were not weak. Others called it the moment everything changed. On Earth, cities grew taller. Spaceports filled with ships going to new colonies. Trade routes open between human worlds and friendly alien systems. The Terran Alliance was no longer just a dream, it was real. But not everyone welcomed this change. In the halls of the Varnathi Dominion, debates still raged. Some wanted revenge, others wanted peace. Junior Analyst Korvac had risen through the ranks. He now stood beside High Lords, offering advice instead of warnings. "They are not our enemies," he said in one meeting. "Not if we choose wisely." Commander Yalin Ro sat nearby. His face was older now, marked by time and thought. "You believe we should work with them?" Ro asked. Korr-Vek nodded. "Yes, or at least learn from them. They grow fast. Stronger. Every year. If we fight them, we will lose more than just ships." Ro looked out the window at the stars. He remembered the TSS Concordia. How it had appeared like thunder and left destruction in its wake. "Perhaps," he said quietly, "they were never weak. Just unknown." Back on Earth, Captain Daniel. Reyes stood on a hill outside the capital city. Beside him was Lanza Carter, still watching the skies. "Do you think they'll come back?" she asked. "Maybe," Reyes said. "But not the way they did before," Lanza smiled. "Good. Because we're ready for them now." Far above, in orbit, a new ship floated in silence. It was long and powerful, built with human hands and alien knowledge. Its name was TSS Unknown, a symbol of what had been learned and what was still ahead. Inside, Mayo Torres stood on the bridge, looking at the stars. "Where to?" the pilot asked. She smiled again. "Everywhere," she said, and with that, the ship jumped into warp. Across the galaxy, humans were no longer just explorers, they were builders. They were fighters. They were diplomats. They were known. And now, no one would ever forget what hit them.